So do you guys prefer a chef knife or Santoku? So as a person go through the culinary journey, their cooking style tend to evolve and change, and so do their cutting style. And I find myself liking cleavers and Santokus a lot more just because I prefer a flatter cutting profile. Recently I made a video that you can find here that the Misen Santoku is becoming one of my favorite knives. And of course, now I also find out that Misen also make a Santoku, so it's a given that I have to check out the Misen Santoku as well. A quick disclaimer, Misen did send me this knife completely free of charge in collaborations to create the Santoku video. However, I am not getting paid to say anything nice about this knife. All of my reviews, as you guys know, are 100% honest reviews. And this is going to be the first impression video. As you know, like you guys always said, any knife can be sharp fresh out of the box. So we're going to come back in 6 months to see how this knife holds up and also do a side-by-side comparison with the Misen Santoku. So I unboxed this Misen Santoku and I brought out the Misen 2.0 chef knife as a side-by-side comparison. So for those of you who own the chef knife, it's a very easy like physical comparison that you guys can see. And as always, the packaging is fantastic. Knife was in there nice and tight, very well protected. Now let's jump right into the specs. The Misen Santoku is made with the same material as the Misen chef knife, which is the Aus-10 steel. It also has the 15-degree edge angle. And the difference is that a Santoku is designed to have a flatter profile. As you can see here, it doesn't have as pronounced of a belly, even though the belly is not super pronounced on the Misen chef knife to begin with. And it's also a lot thinner. So this knife is paper thin. So if you guys like a thin knife, this is definitely one of the knives to go with. And one of the reasons why Santokus are becoming one of my favorite knives is because of how thin the blade is. Alright, now that we talked about the specs, let's jump straight into fit and finish. The fit and finish really didn't stray far from the original Misen chef knives. The finish is great. It has this nice satin finish to it. Handles are nice and tight. I don't see any wobbles. Blade is nice and straight. Yep, very nice and straight. Nice and flat. Nice and thin. I don't see any blemishes on the edge straight out of the box. No nicks or anything. No leftover burr. And honestly, I gotta say, this finish is actually improved in comparison to the chef knife that I got a little while ago. Like the polish on the knife is really nice actually. Well, let's check the balance point. Balance point should be somewhere around the bolster right here. So there's the balance point. And just like the original chef knife, okay, the spine is a little sharp. And there is a very easy fix for it, which I made a video right here that you guys can check out on how to crown your spine of the knife. But I do have to say the finish actually has improved, you know, if it's not dramatically, I think it improved a little bit. The bolster area here is a little bit smoother, and the choil is not as sharp as it was on the chef knife. So there's a little bit less work I'll have to do to round these off. Another thing that I noticed is that the blade for the Santoku is actually just a little bit taller than the chef knife. So if you like a taller chef knife or a taller knife in general, this will be a very good fit, because one of the drawbacks that I said about the Misen Santoku is that I thought the blade height, just the clearance wasn't as high as I want it to be. The last thing that I noticed about this knife in comparison to the Misen Santoku is that it does not have any of the scalpings along the blade for easy food release. But some people prefer them, some people don't really care for them, you know, so it's just a personal preference thing. I guess we'll see how it performs. Let's go ahead and grab a few things and let's get cutting. So there are a few things we're going to cut today. Of course, the tomato, a little baby pepper, some garlic, and a piece of carrot. I did forget to get grapes, so there's no grape test today, which I feel like I failed you guys, but I just didn't have time to run to the grocery store today. It's been kind of a busy day, so let's get to cutting. I think the tomato test is a pretty fair representation and very similar to the grape test anyway. So let's just go ahead and cut straight into it, see if it passes the tomato test. Alright. Uh-oh. Looks like my tomato is starting to sprout a little bit inside. That's not good. It's always kind of gross to see. It always just gives you like goosebumps to see it like sprouts. I don't know if any of you guys have that feeling, but it just gives me like this tingly feeling. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Alright, let's see if it passes. Oh yeah. No issue whatsoever. Holy smokes. That slices through it so fast. See the sprouts that's coming out of it? Ugh, it's so gross. I hate it. Ew, sprouts. Oh, so gross. Look at this, guys. I cut the top off and the sprouts are literally moving in there. Ah, it's so gross, man. Like this, that's one thing that just like gives me like goosebumps all over, man. I can't deal with it. I gotta get rid of this thing. I can't look at it. Nope, 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 nope. You're out of here, buddy. Now that I've recomposed myself, next thing, let's go ahead and cut the bell pepper. As you guys can see, no issue whatsoever. Cutting through very easily. I really like that blade profile so far. Let's go ahead and try to chop this garlic. A lot of times, this is what I do. Like for a lot of times when I have to like really thin slice garlic and get that, what is that? The Goodfellas moment where they like thinly slice the garlic. I just, quickly chop through it like this. And for me, the Santokus work a lot better chopping through like this because it has a much flatter profile and it just allows for a cleaner cut through when you're doing chop cuts. Let's go ahead and get a flat surface so it doesn't roll around. Oh yeah, cuts clean through on the carrots because it's such a thin blade. Now, as I've talked about before, with blades that are a little bit thicker, it tends to wedge through the like crispier items like carrots and things like that. It just wedges through it like an axe. Okay, but with thinner knives, you actually get to slice clean through them instead of just wedging through the items itself. Cuts really nicely so far. Oh yeah, that's really nice. This might actually give that Misen Santoku run for its money, but we shall see here in 6 months. So you guys can see the knife cuts with no issue whatsoever. It's really, really nice. What I am noticing though is that maybe it's just the food that I've been cutting with has a lot of red in it. It's not staining the knife, but you can definitely see that the color of my food is sticking on the knife a little bit. But even without the scalloping, I've noticed that this knife doesn't stick really badly. So maybe that's something I can overlook. So this wraps up the first impression of the Misen Santoku, and as you can see, the performance does not disappoint and doesn't stray far from the Misen chef knife. And as I said a few seconds ago, this knife might give the Misen Santoku a run for its money, but we shall see here in 6 months and do a side-by-side comparison between the two knives and see how this guy holds up here in half a year. And if you guys like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. Help me support all of this madness, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.